Welcome to Broken Bushcraft. I'm Adam. Today we're going to go over a bug out bag for your pet, specifically for your dogs. This transitions, to cats, iguanas, parakeets, whatever. You have to add some and take some away, but mainly it's going to go focusing on the dog. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, and then let's kick this off. So when you're going to decide to bug out, it means you're leaving your location. Are you taking your animal with you or are you leaving it at home? An unpopular opinion, but it is an opinion and it is an option, is to leave your pets at home. Depending on the circumstances and why you're leaving. If it's nothing major, then you can leave your dog at home or pets at home. Maybe you've ran out of resources or need medical attention, so you're leaving your location and you're gonna leave your pets. So you fill up the bathtubs full of water, leave the faucets trickling. If you have a doggy door, they can go outside and relieve themselves. If not, then when you come home, you're going to have feces and urine on the floor, and just accept that. You have a living animal, but you have to clean up some messes. But you've left out extra food and extra water, just let them gorge, do what they do. Or if you have an automatic feeder, then just set that thing up. And then know when you have to come back to your animal. If you are bugging out with your dog, then you have to manage your expectations. It's not going to be like the movie I Am Legend, where your dog is, constantly next to you, finding your resources, fighting off, bad guys, alerting you for whatever. Your dog is going to act how your dog has been trained to act, what you've done with it. If your dog is a barker, then it's going to bring people to your location. And if you've planned to prep and if you plan to bug out and you have resources and other people didn't, now you have to think, are you going to share your resources? Or are you going to shoot people away? Are you going to have to fight for your resources? So it's this, pros and cons to bugging out with your animal. Also, who's carrying the extra weight? Taking your pet with you is another mouth to feed. So it's extra weight you have to carry, or is your animal carrying that weight? If your animal is carrying weight inside like a saddlebag type of harness, then the rule is about no more than 20% of its weight. That extra weight is going to add an extra burden onto your pet, and if you haven't conditioned and trained your pet to do that, then it's going to add an extra level of stress for it. So if you're going to have your animal carry its own weight, then you need to start practicing on that. And that kind of includes your animal into your bugging out preparations. With a harness, you want to make sure it's not too tight. If it's too tight, you're going to have chafing on the pet, so now on your dog, so now you're hurting it. If it's too loose, it's going to fall and it's going to be uncomfortable. So you want to make sure you get it fit correctly to your pet. So that's something to think about. Now, with the things that you're going to, the biggest one is water. Now, it's 1/2 gallon per day per pet. Now, this is not half a gallon. I understand that. This is Jack's water bottle. I can scoop this from a stream. It doesn't need to be purified. Most animals can sustain whatever's in the water. They're not going to get Giardia and stuff like that you're going to catch. So I don't have to purify this. No member of the family is drinking out of this, and I will not use this for drinking water for us. This is only for drinking water for Jack or for your pet. So this can clip to my bag. I can add this water to it from our family water bottle, or if I purified it, then I can add to it. But nobody else is drinking from it except for the pet. Now, if you are, depending on the heat and the weather, your animal is going to sweat more. It's going to be working harder. We have a water enhancer here. This is Nulo, has electrolytes. It's beef brisket flavored. Jack likes it. He's tried it out. Make sure if you have a flavor enhancer for your animal, you've tested out before you go. You don't want them turning their nose up to this while you're going just because you have it in there. So make sure that they're trying out what you have. And then a bowl. A bowl is convenient wherever you go. If you're in a location indoors and you don't want to be dumping the water out, they can drink right from this source, but this is good for food and for water. So a collapsible bowl, it weighs almost nothing, except Jack does like to step on it and collapse it and spill the water out. It's just something to consider about and bring with you, and it just clips to the pack. Next is food. Now there's 3 types of food. You have wet, dry, and then freeze-dried food. Now the wet food comes in cans. Cans are heavier. If you're bugging out on foot, that's extra weight for you to carry. And what dry food is lighter. It has, if your dog is eating dry food, that's fine. If you're gonna have dry food, something to consider about is one of these silica packets to keep the moisture out of here. So that way it's not going bad, it's not getting moldy. And then make sure you're switching that out about every 6 months, so you're putting new fresh food in there. And then freeze-dried food. It's more expensive. You kind of get more bang for your buck. It's the lightest of the 3, and but you can rehydrate it. It has a lot of nutritional value into it, and that will something to think about. Jack does dry food. He does 2 cups per day. 2 cups per day. And if we're going out or hiking, now you have to think the dog is working more. They're going to be burning more calories. They're going to need more calories. So something you can do is add about a cup per day of food. So you should have about 3 days of food. So I'd have 9 cups of food for Jack. I have to actually add to this food because this is our hiking food that we just take with us. So 3 days worth is about the good average there. The next thing is leashes, leads, and an unpopular thing to think about is muzzles. Your dog does not know why everything is happening. So if you're going into a shelter or you're going to a camp or you're just gonna hunker down with other people, if your dog's nervous, they may bite. You don't want to be getting kicked out of a location because your dog bit. Look at Hurricane Katrina. They first allowed pets into the Metrodome and they took pets away and they allowed them again. So people just let their pets run off and wherever. So, if you're gonna stay in a location, your dog is stressed, you're stressed, it may bite. And if you do have a muzzle, make sure you put it on your dog and tested it with it. And with this muzzle, Jack can breathe, he can eat, he can drink water. So it's just a mesh muzzle. He just can't bite and open up too much. So it's something to think about, especially if you're gonna be around other people. And when people see a dog, they run up to your dog like, oh, your dog may have never bit, but in a stressful situation, things change. We have a tie out for him. It has a little carabiner on it. So I can, if I'm at location, I can tie him up. He can let him run around a little bit. This way I don't have to hold him the entire time. This is not a lead. I'm not walking him around with this. I'm tying him out with this. The lead I have is a short lead. And the reason I have a short lead is because I want to keep him close by to me. I don't want him jumping on people. I want him close by, especially if a lot of people, the stressful situation. I don't want to have the dog bite somebody or bite me, and now I'm dealing with a first aid situation where I didn't need to be. Right now, Jack is at off-leash canine, so he's learning how to be off-leash. But some locations may make your dog go on a leash no matter how they're trained. So he's going to learn some additional obedience, and then that will help us, especially when we're hiking or we're taking our walks. Injuries happen. A good idea for you to do is to take a first aid kit or first aid course for your pet. Some things we have here, this is not all inclusive, is some hydrocortisone cream or spray, some antifungal spray, some gauze and some bandages, and then some wet wipes, antibacterial wipes, specifically for dogs. There's other medications, and there's medication that can cross human to pet, like Benadryl is a good one to have in case they get some kind of allergy or some kind of rash. Hydrogen peroxide can induce vomiting, so in case they eat something or ingest something they shouldn't have. But is your dog on medication? If your dog is on medication, then you want to have about a month's supply with you that you can take. And that goes with heartworm or anything else like that. A good idea to take with you is extra flea and tick medication. You don't want, when's the last time they were treated for that? You don't want them bringing that into your location. So having extra medication that they take is a really, really good idea. Make sure you talk to your vet and see what they recommend. Clothing. Does your dog wear clothes? Now that sounds silly, but if it's cold outside, you have a dog with a thin coat, you might need to put a sweater on it or a jacket on it. Jack has a rain jacket. This is our hiking jacket. I know it's bright. Not the best if I'm trying to keep a subtle approach, but if something does happen to me while we're hiking, I can strap this on Jack and it can be seen for a good distance. Also, it has a reflective on it, so it can be seen at night. This is just something to keep the rain off of him, so I don't have to worry about it. Something we are going to train Jack on is the little boots, and the reason for that is we hike on a lot of places that have a lot of rocks, and people are so they leave a lot of trash around. So we've seen glass, and it gets hot outside, and the blacktop and concrete gets really hot. You don't want to be burning your dog's paws, so the boots are a good idea. Also, goggles. We have some friends that have their dogs wear goggles so they don't get hit in the eye with an injury. It's the most common injury for hiking dogs. I have a poncho here to set him up a little shelter, a little shade in case it gets too hot. And then I have his own towel. This is specifically for him, not for anything else. I can dry him off, I can wipe his paws down, and I'm not using that on my face or anything else. That's just for Jack. Poop bags. Poop bags can go across the spectrum. You can use it to hold water, collect poop, your poop or your animal's poop. You can use it as a bandage if you need to, but so poop bags are something you should have in your everyday kit anyways. Clean up after your dogs. A toy, or your dog's favorite toy. Jack likes tennis balls, so have this in him with the kit. This is even in our hiking kit. This way you can just break the monotony and let them get some exercise if they're out there running around. You want to have them some kind of recreation for them. Treats. You want to pack some kind of treat for your dog. You have treats, they have treats. Bring something with you that they can nibble on, and that can also, in worst case scenarios, substitute for some of the food. And then puppy pads. Puppy pads are great for a couple different reasons. If your dog does urinate on the floor, you can wipe it up with this. Or if they're trained to do it, trained to urinate on this when you're inside, you don't want to be stepping in urine. You want to be able to clean up after your pet. But this also works really good as a gauze. So it's just another option for you out there. And then the last but not least is, how do you carry this? You're going to keep it in your pack. Is your dog going to carry some of this? We have a little kind of a side thing that I can carry across my body that doesn't interfere with my pack. When Jack gets back from training, because he's about done growing, now I don't have to buy additional things, so we're going to get him on how to carry a lot of his own stuff. So that's a basic fallout or bug out kit for your dog. Now, if you have a cat, you have to have cat litter and other things in here, but take away, add to. This is very basic. Please feel free to add to this, take away to it. I look forward to seeing some of your comments, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the woods.